5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let the games begin.
Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. A particular welcome to my fellow movie maniacs. Yes, there's one of them right there. And my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Get your ass on in here to Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. Yes, mi casa, su casa. I think that's Spanish, right? I think so. I don't know. Could be Portuguese. I have no idea. But yeah, get in here, get comfortable, kick your feet back. You know, it's almost the weekend. It's Friday Eve. It's pre weekend or pre Saturday, and I'm here to help you just kick fucking back and help you ease you into the weekend with a little Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny. Yeah. So, hey, are you ready for some female empowerment? Yeah. Are you ready to see one of your favorite childhood heroes look like an old former shadow of his former self? Well, we've got the movie for you tonight. And as always, we're going to get all spoilery. I'm going to spoil you rotten with this. All right. So just a warning to anybody who's turning in or tuning in. There we go. Tuning in. There we go. Try that 10 times real fast. Tuning in, that hence the title of the show, spoiler warning. We are going to get very spoilery up in here with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, or the Depends of Diarrhea, however you want to say that. That's one I've heard a lot of people say, so they're always coming up with jokey names for Indiana Jones movies, particularly this one, since this is the lesser of the Indiana Jones movies and all that, but you know what, you will get that impression from what I have to say about that. Okay, but you know what? Hey, let's before I start getting too in depth into Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, let me drop the needle.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
That's right. That title don't lie. That intro don't lie, okay? And you know what? That intro should get you fired up a little bit, okay? A little fired up, getting ready to talk about a little Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, especially my movie maniacs. Yeah, so we're ready to talk in depth, okay? So in this show right here, we don't just kind of skim over the movie, and we don't watch the movie and go, oh, that was a decent movie. Hey, let's go do some laundry. Let's do some laundry. Yeah, let's go play some pool. Want to arrange our sock drawer or floss our cat? No, we get in depth with the movie that we are going over in this show right there. And it's very hard. And, you know, maybe some of you are like me. It's very hard to get somebody that is willing to talk on more than a shallow level about movies. I mean, like I said before, like I mentioned before, most people will just go see a movie and there was a movie. Hey, crazy game last night, huh? Like they just want to talk about anything else, okay, and whatnot. But movies mean a little bit more to me, or a whole lot more to me than with most people, okay? But yeah, hey, just let me take this moment out to remind you, if you would hit the old thumbs up down there on this episode. Okay, hit the thumbs up to like this episode, and then hit the subscribe or follow button here to subscribe or follow to this channel if you would. Okay, and then hit that notification bell so that you get notified when a hot, sizzling, fresh, piping hot episode of either my Movies Merica spoiler-free episode or my Movies Merica spoiler warning episode that you're watching right now is available just for you, okay? And then everybody else as well. Not exactly exclusive, okay? And I hope that everybody had a great 4th of July weekend, a great Independence Day weekend. Obviously We celebrate that to commemorate the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. But also, of course,
Good luck, buddy.
we celebrate when Cousin Eddie saved the world on a fateful Independence Day. Yes.
Oh, boys! I'm back!
Yes. Yes. So thank you, Cousin Eddie, for saving our lives. What was that? Like almost a little over 20 years ago, something like that. So yeah. So of course, that's the real reason we celebrate Independence Day. Of course. All right. So hey, what should we do first, everybody? What should we do first? Here, let me. We should probably. Let's talk about. Let me get this up here. Let me get my ducks in a row. Cross my T's and dot my I's. Okay, because you know what, you tuned in to hear a little spoiler reaction of my Independence Day. Maybe we'll do that next week. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Okay. Actually, before I get in that here, feel free to get in the live chat. Okay, that's part of the fun of this show is get into the live chat. Okay, and you can live chat with me about anything you want. Okay, obviously we're talking about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny tonight, but if you want to chat with me about any other movie or just get in the live chat and go, hey, how you doing, or hi, and then get out of here, I mean, if you don't have time to watch a 2-hour spoiler warning show, I get it. We got lives, right? You got kids, you got laundry, you got all this, you got to do that, so yeah, tune in for like like a half an hour, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you have, a minute. I mean, whatever you have. Okay. And then, yeah, just say hi in the live chat. If you want to put a shit emoji in there, that's perfectly fine. Or, hey, you want to ask me, hey, what do you think about the upcoming Cubs Cardinals series? I'm not going to have a whole lot to add to that conversation, but you can always ask. Okay. And so pretty soon we should be getting some live chatters in here. You can live chat with me on Rumble or YouTube. And if you live chat with me on YouTube, I can put your comment up here on the screen. Isn't that a selling point? Yeah. Right now, you're supposed to be like running to your laptop or your phone or your iMac and running just to live chat with me right now with that enticement right there. Like, yeah. Okay. And then later on, we're going to be doing some brew review time as well. And we'll have our movie military moment segment that we always have. Okay. But with that, let's talk a little bit about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And so I have a lot of problems with this movie. And as you probably heard, a lot of people have a lot of problems with this movie. Okay. I guess the main problem that I have with this movie is the fact that they take one of our childhood heroes, or I was a child when I first saw Indiana Jones, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I get it. He's old. I get it. I don't have a problem with there being an old Indiana Jones in this movie. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is them basically making him a loser. Okay, Marion is about to separate and divorce his ass. Now this next part doesn't make him a loser, but his son Mutt dies in Vietnam. Okay, and he's living in a shitty apartment in New York City. I don't know why the fuck he's in New York City, but he's there. Okay, and he's losing life. Okay, Beer Drink a Trev in the live chat on Rumble. Movies is doing the Lord's work. Yes. This show is ordained by the Pope himself from the Vatican. And I just got off the phone with the Pope at the Vatican right before this show. And he gave me his blessing. So, but I appreciate you mentioning that. Beer Drink and Trev goes on to say, I don't care how bad this movie is. I'm going to watch it. You know what? I would definitely watch it. I mean, just to see, I'm going to say, see how bad it is. But hey, you never know. Maybe you'll like it. I seriously fucking doubt it. But maybe you would. But at least you could say that you did see it and you're able to judge for yourself, right? I did the exact same thing with Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I didn't see it at the theaters. It was the very first, I was about to say the very first Indiana Jones movie I hadn't seen in the theaters. Actually, the only Indiana Jones movie that I saw at the theaters was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Okay. Now, when Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out, My family weren't really into taking us to movies that much. Okay, my mom and dad weren't really into taking us into the movies. We went to a few movies, but I went and saw E.T., we saw Annie, and yeah, I'm sure some other movies in there. But for some reason, we didn't go see Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we didn't see Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But by the time 1989 rolled around and The Last Crusade came out, I was old enough to go see movies on my own, and so I saw that. So I didn't see The Crystal Skull in the theaters because I'd heard just so much, bad shit about it, and so I did, but I did finally watch it at home because I wanted to give it a chance. Okay, I'm not going to take someone else's word for it, and about their opinion. I mean, I want to judge it for myself. Plus, I also honestly want to be able to say, if someone says, well, you probably hadn't even seen the movie, you're shitting all over it, you haven't seen the movie. I want to be able to honestly say, I have seen the movie. Okay, I saw the movie. I'm able to judge for myself, and I'm able to talk intelligently. Like, okay, well, one of the reasons I didn't like this movie is because of this scene right here, like Crystal Skull, the scene with Mutt swinging in the trees with the fucking monkeys. That still pisses me off right there. Or when they fly the duck car off of the cliff and they land in the tree and they go bouncing into the. Come on. At that point, the movie turned into like a Monty Python movie. Okay, that was just bullshit. I hated that. Okay, but at least I saw the movie myself and I was able to judge. So yeah, Trevor, man, definitely yes. You need to. I would definitely encourage to watch this movie. Now, when you want to stab your eyes out like halfway through the movie, if you do want to stab your eyes out halfway in the movie, don't blame me. I don't want you picturing me in your head with curse words repetitively going through your brain, okay? Because I didn't say to go see this movie, but you know what? Hey, you should judge it for yourself. But Indiana Jones, they made him a loser, and I don't like how they have to tear down his character to try to build up the character of Helena Shaw, right? Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character. I mean, if her character is so fucking great, then you don't have to tear down Indiana Jones to make her character great, okay? Write a good character for her where she doesn't start out like the bitch that she starts out in this movie, because she is a total tool in this movie at the very beginning. Not just the very beginning, but throughout most of the movie. And then they just, later on in the movie, there's like, okay, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, okay, now it's time not to be such a bitch. Okay, now it's time to be a personable person that people want to be around, okay? And so then she just switches to being a personable person that you don't want to drop kick right in the face, okay? But it was clumsy. It just didn't feel natural that she made that transition, okay, after being a complete tool bag the whole movie, okay? But you don't have to tear down Indiana Jones to do it. Okay, you could have him still with Marion. Okay, now I know that probably a lot of the writers in this movie probably frown on the nuclear family. They probably don't like the idea of families and husbands and wives still being together, and then, God forbid, having some kids. Oh my God, that would be terrible. Oh my God, that's a tenet of the patriarchy. Okay, that's a tenet of the white man. We can't have families. So they probably got off on the idea of like having Indiana Jones separated from Marion. Okay, at least at the beginning of this movie. Now, to their credit, they came to their senses and they put them back together at the end. Okay. So and maybe that, as I talk more and more, maybe that's why they had it that way, so they could set up that scene right there. So that's how I work. I talk things out and then I come to an epiphany at the end. And then you guys are like, we knew that the whole time, Van, but hey, I'm glad that you had to speak it out to come to that conclusion there. But yeah, and then also, like, what's he doing in New York City? What's he doing teaching at this cruddy, shitty college? I mean, remember in the previous movies, it looked like he was teaching, at Notre Dame or something like that, right? Or whatever, some classic college campus, not at some city college in the middle of shithole New York City, okay? Because now, as shitty as New York City is now, at least it wasn't as shitty back in the 60s in this movie, okay? But so at least they didn't have them in present day New York City, because we might not have had a movie, because Indiana Jones probably would have got like mugged and killed 5 minutes into the movie there. But yeah, you didn't have to tear down, Indiana Jones, Dr. Henry Jones Jr. To build up Helena Shaw. Is that her name? Yeah, Helena Shaw. So you didn't have to do that, but I did. So I think that I know they're trying to transition to a younger Indiana Jones character. Now they didn't quite do that in this movie. Helena Shaw, she didn't like put on the fedora and grab the whip at the end of the movie. Okay, so they didn't fully do the transition. They had her walk off, and they at the end she'd given her or Indiana and Marion some private time. I'm cheapening the moment. It's a beautiful moment at the end. A good love story, a reuniting of Indiana and Marion. And I'm over here cheapening it. Jeez, Van, I'll tell you. Let me check out the live chat here. Man, we're doing beer drinking Trev, putting in work. When a new Indiana Jones comes out and it isn't that enjoyable, do what I do. Watch the original trilogy. Yeah, exactly. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing that like right before you see this, and maybe you already have, but I wouldn't watch the original trilogy like right before you see this movie, because it's going to make this installment that much worse. Okay. It's just going to sharpen the blade, or maybe dull the blade would be a better way of putting that. And definitely don't watch Raiders. Okay, well, obviously that's part of the original trilogy, and that's one thing that this movie misses. That Raiders has is like Raiders has that edginess, that darkness to it, right? That just that organic, basic. Not basic, but it's storytelling is grounded. Okay, it's not trying to be bubble and party and no, it's grounded. It's got a serious side to it. Now, it has comedic moments, right? The dude with the big sword, and Indy just takes out his gun and blows him away. The whole monkey thing in Cairo, all kinds of little funny comedic flourishes and that kind of thing in Raiders. But the movie as a whole, a lot of part of the movie is it's got very serious parts to it. It's got some serious darkness to it. Obviously, particularly when they open the Ark of the Covenant at the end, and old Belloc finds out the hard way. Yeah, there's a reason that you're supposed to leave that Ark of the Covenant alone. Okay. And so that was a very dark scene at the beginning when we first meet Indiana. And we've got that great John Williams score going through the opening credits. And he's with his two, escorts or whatever, two guides, whatever. And you don't really see Indiana Jones until the end of the opening credits. You see him in silhouette, and you got the ominous John Williams score going on. And then, the one dude, pulls a gun on him. Indiana Jones reaches back and, whips the shit out of him. And just that whole buildup, right? And going into the temple and that kind of thing. Like, it's a very serious feel to it, right? Like, this movie is all about adventure and action. And this isn't some, goofy, lighthearted, bubblegum superhero movie. Okay. And then that whole feeling, that whole vibe follows throughout the movie. Okay. He goes back home, and then he gets some lighthearted moments with him in class, and he's teaching the class, and the girl with the love you on her eyelids and that kind of thing. But then, they find out the government guys show up, and he starts telling the story of the Ark of the Covenant and how they open it up, and the Israelites use it as weapons. And even the G-men are like, oh my God, and then they're like, well, that's exactly what the Hebrews thought, right? Talking about just setting up the Ark in this serious, dark way, right? Letting you know, like, they're about to like go after this artifact, this serious major artifact that was handed down by God, from on high, and these guys are about to go and just look for it, like they're looking for Waldo, like they're going on a Pokemon Go search or something like that. And so Raiders has that darkness to it, and that's one thing that this movie, Dial of Destiny, doesn't have within it. Is just too light and fluffy and just syrupy and whatnot, and they just don't sell it like they do in Raiders. So that's another reason there, Trev, that I would not watch the original trilogy right before this. Okay, now it's hard for me to do because I've got the original. Well, I've got the first 4 movies on 4K behind me. And it's like I tend to watch it probably at least once a year there, except for the Crystal Skull. I don't watch the Crystal Skull because to me there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies. Okay, all right, rightfully. Obviously, I've seen 4 and 5, but to me, yeah, it really isn't any more than just the original trilogy of the Indiana Jones movie. But yeah, I think I've talked to death about just my overall problem with what they did with the Indiana Jones character in this. There are just some inconsistencies with this movie where the writers clearly didn't think it through, although they had like extra time because of the pandemic. And that's one of the reasons why this movie cost so much, is because there was all these delays due to the pandemic. So the writers had extra time to think of these things. Like, how did they not realize that the crashed plane at the end is not going to change history? Okay, they just leave it there. All right. Well, I mean, obviously they have to leave it there, but why did they write that into the movie, right? I mean, if you're going to crash a plane and the whole idea is not to change history, well, too late, because you've got a World War II era jet fighter right in the middle of Sicily there in in the year 231 BC or whatever that was. Okay. And then not to mention you've got hundreds, if not thousands of bullet casings everywhere, rounds everywhere, from a machine gun from the 20th century there. I mean, you got all these things that are going to change history inevitably, whether or not Indiana decided to, stay there or whatnot. So, Beer Drinker Trev says, another movie that doesn't exist is Rocky V. Yeah, true. That's another movie where the main character is just depressing, because remember the high from Rocky IV? He beats Ivan Drago in Russia, and then Rocky V starts out with him arriving back in America, and he's lost all his money. I think he's got brain damage. They established that Rocky's got brain damage or something like that. He's just a depressing as fuck beginning to Rocky V. I mean, it's just like this movie, Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny. Indiana Jones is just like the crusty, craggly old man. Hold your Joe Biden jokes, okay? In this, it's just depressing. He walks into his kitchen. There's separation papers from Marion Ravenwood and Marion, I should say. Who else would it be, right? So Rocky V, another great example there. So. And Trev, I'd love to hear your thoughts overall on what you thought of the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character right there, because I know what I think with that. But back to my point here about the changing history. Indiana Jones, he wanted to stay back there, and that's another thing that I had a problem with. Okay, because remember how Indiana Jones throughout all the movies is all about this artifact belongs in a museum, right? And Indiana Jones is portrayed as a guy that respects history. So when you respect history, you sure as hell don't want to change history. You are very cognizant that if you go back in history, you definitely don't stay there and you don't interact with anybody. Matter of fact, Indiana Jones overall probably isn't psyched about the whole idea of going back in time or going forward in time, just time travel, period, right? But in this movie, obviously he time travels, okay? And so, which he probably wasn't happy about, but then you're going to write in the script that he would want to stay behind, in 231 BC or whenever that was. Like, Indiana Jones, as we know, would not want to do that, which tells me these writers just don't know the character very well, okay? And Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were producers on this movie. At least Steven Spielberg was, okay? And so maybe that's why Steven Spielberg didn't want to direct this movie. Is probably maybe they wrote a script, they finalized the script, maybe he had some gripes with it, and they were like, "Nah, screw you, we're not going to change it." In spite of the fact that you're a Hollywood legend, there, Steven Spielberg, we're not changing it for you. And so he's probably like, well, fuck this. I'm not gonna direct this movie. Now he did recommend James Mangold to direct this movie. That James Mangold got the gig because Steven Spielberg recommended him. But maybe that was after Steven Spielberg was like, well, I was going to direct the movie, but your script is shit. So, but and then also Karen Allen, who of course plays Marion Ravenwood, she said in an interview here recently that, and if I'm paraphrasing her correctly, she implied at least that Spielberg had a script where the movie would have actually involved more her and Indiana Jones in the movie as opposed to just bringing her in at the end. That movie probably would have been a bigger hit. Okay. If you would have had more Indiana Jones and Marion together in the movie, but maybe, Kathleen Kennedy, was on a mission. She was like, no, we are going to tear down this cis male character and we are going to bring in a woman. It's time for women power in the Indiana Jones franchise. And maybe that was it. I don't know. And so she was like, she pissed on his script with Indiana Jones and Marion being in the script more and wanted to shove down this script where you've got this strong woman, character in it, this overbearing, bitchy character in it. Okay. Now, I clarify that because I don't have a problem with a movie with a very strong woman character in it. Like Edge of Tomorrow. Remember the Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt movie, Edge of Tomorrow? Emily Blunt was a strong character in that movie. She kicked ass. And I didn't mind her character in that because they wrote it very well. They wrote it very well where her and Tom Cruise had great chemistry. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Helena Shaw character in this is not written very well. Now, I'm not going to blame Phoebe Waller-Bridge for that because she's not a writer on this movie. She's just basically acting out what the script has in it. So she might have had a lot of input. I don't know that for sure. So I'm not going to kick her in the gut, for that. Okay. She's just acting out the script. But the script did her no favors because, yeah, she is a first-class bitch in this movie, okay? Leaving Indy for dead and that kind of thing, at least a couple times, right? And, Kathleen Kennedy probably wanted, this script for that reason. Get rid of the dude and bring in women power, and it just seems so forced. It's just so forced and artificial how she does it. And so that was probably part of the reason, probably not a major reason why this movie flopped, but it was part of the reason. Okay. Another thing I don't get is how did Indiana Jones get away with murder once he got back? Okay, like why? How was he not arrested once he got back? After Phoebe Waller-Bridge, punches him out with the magical punch of all magical punches, where you punch a guy and he's out cold for at least a day. Okay, and he wakes up in his bed. Okay, at least a couple continents away. That magical punch. How is it that the cops weren't banging down his door, or how is it that they didn't have him handcuffed to his bed? I mean, was he cleared of all the charges? I mean, I'm not saying I want Indiana Jones to be charged and go to jail, but did they forget about that part in the movie where, yeah, he was wanted for murder when he left? And then again, that doesn't explain how is he able to get to the airport and board a plane without being arrested. Okay, last time I checked, if you're wanted for murder, they basically cover all the airports, the train stations, the bus stations, all that. They get put out pictures everywhere. He was walking around town. Some dude recognized him from the TV and then saw us slug that dude. I mean, there would have been people at the cops at the airport looking for him. Okay, so how do you? A lot of things that the writers just were too dumb to think about. Okay, so. But to commemorate their dumbness here, let me grab a beer. A drink of beer, I should say. Uno momento. Oh, yeah. Very good. I'm putting in some serious work, everybody, so I got to stay hydrated, all right? I'm sitting here on my ass talking about movies. This is hard work. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Hey, let's break it up a little bit. What do you say? Want to break it up a little bit? And give you guys a break from my Indiana Jones of Dial of Destiny discussion there. So let me take this moment to tell you all about our tdpn.locals.com website. Yes. And this is where we have all our content, like our videos, our blogs, our articles, all about this and that, about movies, entertainment. I got hot button issues of the day. Maybe might talk about a little white powder at the White House, something like that. Absolutely not. Hunters. They might talk about politics. Don't talk about sports a whole lot. So if you want sports talk, you're not going to get that, at this website, at least not yet. Okay. But then, we have drink recipes, got cocktail recipes there. Sean does an excellent a job of that. He's got a recipe for mean, spicy old fashioned on there. So you're going to get great content like that on tdpn.locals.com. And we present that content to you in a way you're not going to see anywhere else. Okay. From the way I'm describing it right now, you're like, well, I can get that somewhere else. I can get that kind of stuff like at all kinds of other websites. Not the way that we do it on this website. Their whole totally new experience. Okay. And don't believe me? Well, go check it out yourself. And right now you can check it out yourself for free for a whole month if you, as it says there at the very bottom, put in promo code TDPN, as in Till Death Podcast Network. Put that promo code of TDPN in there. And you get a 1 month free membership to check out all our stuff on there. Okay. So you've got no excuse not to go there. All right. So definitely do it. And then also, just check me out on Twitter and Instagram under @Movies Merica there as well. Seems like a good time to let you know all about that. You bet. Okay. All right. So moving on. What else do I want to talk about here with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Okay. And hey, just so I'm not talking to myself again, get in the live chat. Okay. If you're on Rumble, you just got to go and there's a chat window. I think it's over there towards the right there. So I don't have it up right now. Normally not on that side of it, but look around the screen and you'll see the live chat field there where you can put in your live chat. Okay. Costs you absolutely nothing. Now, if you do want to send me a Rumble rant, if you want to show a little financial appreciation there, I never mind that. Right there by where you type in your message for the live chat, there is a handy icon with a $sign there. And you can click on that, and you can give a little money to the working man. Okay, so maybe I can buy a new box of Twinkies or something like that, or I could support my 17 kids. Those braces aren't going to pay for themselves. Okay, so I don't have 17 kids, but hey, that's my way of begging for money. Well, it's just that $sign icon there, right there. If you want to, send me a little financial appreciation, what Rumble calls a Rumble rant. Okay. Alrighty then. And and then another thing that they don't explain in this movie is they have the new short round character. Okay. But they call him Teddy in this. Okay. So Teddy is basically this movie's short round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Okay. Even down to the backstory of how Helena met Teddy because he was trying to pick her pockets. Well, that's how Indiana Jones explained how he met Short Round in the Temple of Doom. Short Round was trying to pickpocket him as well. Okay, so no points for originality, okay, with this Teddy character whatsoever. Okay, and he doesn't really add that much to the movie whatsoever. So I'm not sure why they have it. Like, not having him in the movie probably would have cut down some time that they definitely needed to cut down in this movie. Okay, he didn't add a whole lot to it. But earlier in the movie, he point blank says that he cannot swim. Okay, point blank says he cannot swim. But then later on in the movie, he's captured by the bad guys. And here's this guy that says he can't swim, but his first inclination is to jump into a underground river, a river within a cave, right? To jump into a river. I thought you couldn't swim, dude. Why are you jumping into a river? Much less you've got a big henchman connected to you with handcuffs. Okay? Now, swimming is hard enough. How are you supposed to swim with some big 7'2", 300-pound dude handcuffed to you? Okay? It makes no sense whatsoever. Okay? Like, do they just not, not check, did they not rewind their script? Did they not go through it? All that. So, oh, look at Beer Drinking Trev. He's stepping up here, showing some financial love to me. I appreciate that. $10 from Beer Drinking Trev. You are the man, my sir. All right. You are the man. Much love. But he says, no time for, let me do it right. No time for love, Dr. Jones. Yes. Now, when I first saw Temple of Doom and when he says that line, I think that's like right around the time where I was like starting to, get to that age where you start noticing girls. And, but if I'd seen the movie 5 years before that, I would have had no idea. Like, what is that referring to? But that was a funny line from Ki Hee Kwan's character of Short Round. And then no time for love, Dr. Jones. And you know what? Our man Short Round, he stands up for Indy. She calls him I don't know what Willie Scott, Kate Capshaw's character, calls Dr. Indiana Jones or something like that. But I think she just calls him Indy or something like that. And he's like, you call him Dr. Jones, like Short Round. He's standing up for his buddy. Yeah. So, but again, yeah, thanks a lot there, Trev, for that $10 Rumble rant. It is much appreciated. So let's see, now I can get me a couple of new boxes of Twinkies. Thanks to Trevor there. So absolutely. Now I just don't get with this movie, like, why again they thought that they could make this movie and try to measure up to the first three Indiana Jones movies right there. Again, total quality contrast between this movie and the other movies. I mean, remember the end of The Last Crusade where they're riding off into the sunset, Brody, he's like, I'll show you the way, and then rides off, into the sunset, practically falling off his horse. And Indiana's got to save him, whatnot. And they ride off into the sunset, Indiana and Brody and Sala and Indy's dad, and then you get the John Williams, score da 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 da. I mean, can't do that too long. I don't want to get copyright stricken. But it's a great ending, a great way to end the Indiana Jones saga right there. But they just couldn't leave well enough alone. Okay, so they just started getting dollar signs in their eyes and just like, we got money to make. Yes, like we're too scared to make original content, original movies. And we're just going to keep trying to squeeze more blood out of this Indiana Jones turn up here. So they couldn't leave well enough alone. And they made the Kingdom of the Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and this Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery. And they just, and you know what? They can't measure up to the original three. But you know what? Hey, like they say, money is the root of all evil. And we're seeing some cinematic evil. Evil is probably an extreme term, but you get my point. Okay. And also Disney and Lucasfilm, they're finding out that they can't depend on China anymore to bail them out at the box office. Okay. Because this movie made domestically, I think, 82 million, which is pathetic. Okay. Very pathetic. Okay. Especially for a 5-day weekend. This movie had a 5-day weekend. It was a 4th of July weekend. Okay, 5-day weekend. This movie makes only 82 million. Yeah, okay. But then it made, I think, even less overseas, obviously including China. Because I think it made like 72 million. Here, let me look this up here. I got to check this out. Now I'm all curious here. All right. Let's see. International. Let's check this out. Need some Jeopardy music. All right. Let's see here. So, yeah, it looks like the international box office results for Dial of Destiny were also lackluster, with an estimated 70 million across 52 territories. So consequently, the film's total opening weekend gross accounted to $130 million. Okay, this movie cost at least $330 million. That's just the budget to make it. We're not even talking about marketing yet. Okay, at least $300 million. rumors are saying upwards of 330 million. I mean, even like the shill access media are saying that it's more likely like 330 million when all is said and done, because so a lot of this movie was filmed over in England or Great Britain, whatever you want to call it, right? And so they get a tax rebate for filming most of the movie over there across the pond. Okay, so I'm saying 330 million now, but that budget actually might shoot up to 400 million just to make the movie, Then on top of that, they probably have like at least 150 to 200 million just to market it, all the commercials, all the online marketing, all the marketing in general. Okay, 150 to 200 million. Okay, so what are we up? 600 million. Okay, so far total that they're spending total on this movie between making the movie and the marketing. Okay, then they don't even get all of that money back. Okay, so if they make 600 million, they don't get all that money back. Disney and Lucasfilm doesn't get all that money back. A good portion of the money goes to the theaters. Okay, so out of that 600, if they make 600 million back, they probably only get like 300 million, maybe 400 million tops out of that. And so there's still 200 million in the hole. So they're not even breaking even yet. Okay. And so and they only make 130 million over the first 5 days. And this is supposed to be this big tent pole Indiana Jones returns after 15 years kind of movie. Okay. These guys are in deep shit, I guess is the point I'm trying to make with this movie. Okay. And they brought it on themselves. Okay. They just, they need to think, number one, entertain. That needs to be their number one priority. Entertain. Their number one priority shouldn't be message, shouldn't be narrative, shouldn't be, we have got this narrative, this message that we want to shove down everyone's throats, and we're going to use this beloved character, this beloved IP to kind of sugarcoat our narrative that we're trying to shove down their throat, right? That needs to be priority number 113. Okay. Priority number one needs to be entertainment. Okay. And so make your movie entertaining. If you want to shove some messaging in there, I'm not fine with that. I'm not okay with it. Okay. I want my entertainment pure. Okay. I don't want conservative Republican messaging in my movies. I don't want liberal leftist Democrat messaging in my movies. Okay. I don't want any messaging in the movie. Okay. Just entertain me. Okay. Now, if they would have remembered, entertainment is priority number one, like Ford, quality is job one and number at Ford. Well, it's a motto. It's not really true, but if they would have made priority number one, entertain everybody, then they would have surely written a better script than they did. Okay. A script that people would have loved and would have made this a movie that people loved and enjoyed. And then they go watch it, and then they go tell their cousin Sal and Grandma Molly and Grandpa George and Grandpa George and Grandma Molly and cousin Sal. They go tell all their friends and their family. That's what we call word of mouth, people. Okay. And they would have spread the good gospel around the world that you got to see Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny. Okay. This is so entertaining. I mean, just think of like Top Gun Maverick last year. Okay. Top Gun Maverick, it didn't wow the box office. It didn't blow up at the box office its first weekend. Okay. It did good, but it didn't blow up the box office. But that movie had legs. Okay. Because people saw it, and then they told all their friends and their family. And then everyone's like, really? Wow. I wasn't going to see it, but man, I'm going to go see it. All right. Yeah. All right. Next thing you know, Top Gun Maverick is making over $1 billion. Over $1 billion. Over $1 billion. And the plot to it is not that complicated. Okay. Just use classic storytelling techniques that have been time tested, that have stood the test of time, that people enjoy. Top Gun Maverick. You got your main character, very heroic. He's older, so now he's playing more than mentor. Okay. But the movie accurately portrays that since he's older, he's wiser. He knows more than, the young whippersnappers. The young whippersnappers coming in. Okay. He knows more than them. Okay. That makes sense. He's not overshadowed, overpowered by them. Like Indiana Jones is overpowered, overshadowed at times in this movie by Helena Shaw. Okay. So it's not that complicated. Okay. You've got Maverick, he saves the day. Okay. He's the main hero of the movie. They give him a great love story with him and Jennifer Connelly. These are just basic things that even I could write a script with that stuff in there. Now, there's filling in the blanks here or there is probably what separates me from the good screenwriters, Aaron Sorkin and all the other, screenwriters and that kind of thing. David Koepp, all these other great screenwriters, Quentin Tarantino. Okay. But if they would have just remembered these tried and true tactics, the things that drag people, that draw people, that magnetize people to your movie, they would have had a better movie. Okay. But now they're finding out, back to my original point, that they can't depend on even China or international numbers anymore, because did you hear what I said? 70 million across 52 territories, not just China, 52 territories or 52 countries, however you want to say it. Okay. Got to do better. Got to do better. Stop with the messaging. Stop with the narrative. Do better. Entertain. Okay. All right. So what else we got? What else we got here? So, and also kind of that point of the narrative and the messaging, I would just like to ask Kathleen Kennedy one question. What's his name? Or what's their name? What's the name of the guy that turned you into this feminazi, this militant feminist, where it obviously plays into how you want a script written? What was his name? Who scorned you? Who hurt you? Who cut you deep? Okay, because behind every feminist, there's at least one guy's name that fucked them over royally. Okay, Kathleen Kennedy, what's your guy's name? Okay, point being is, stop bringing your feminist capabilities or tendencies into this movie. Okay, don't ruin the movie for everybody else. Okay, just because some dude or some dudes turn you into a grumpy hag doesn't mean you're gonna drag us down with all your bullshit. Okay. Okay. Entertain. And if you entertain us, you'll be swimming in you're probably swimming in loot anyway, because you have all the right connections and all that. Let me check a live chat here. Oh, Till Death Podcast. Let's say, haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not going to spoil it with the live stream, but just wanted to say, what's up? Hey, what's up to you there, Till Death Podcast? I appreciate you chiming in, showing some support. I appreciate that. So, probably a good idea. If you haven't seen the movie yet, this is definitely the wrong time to watch this here, but please watch it after you see the movie. And definitely want to hear what you thought of the movie. Okay. But so Kathleen Kennedy, she's just she's got an axe to grind, and she likes to use her movies and TV shows that she's in charge of to really grind that axe to the detriment of all of us. Okay. Now her fellow feminists probably love it. I mean, obviously you see with when she's holding press conferences, she's got presentations like at Comic-Con or D23, and she's got other women up there on the stage, and they're all, raising their fist, and the force is female, talking about Star Wars, and they're just clumsily trying to inject, this female empowerment into their movies and that kind of thing. And again, like I said, I don't have a problem with strong, kick-ass women in movies. Like I said, I gave the example, Emily Blunt in Edge of Tomorrow. Okay. Ripley from Aliens. Sigourney Weaver's Ripley kicks fucking ass, and I love it. Laura Croft, played by Angelina Jolie, kicks ass in the Tomb Raider movies, and she kicked ass in Salt. Okay. Now, me and 7 other people saw the movie Salt, but she kicked ass in Salt. Trust me. If you haven't seen Salt, check it out. Okay. Hey, Till Death Podcast gave me some good news. Also, you're on the front page of Rumble for entertainment live streams. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Because I am just going to give you guys all the credit for that. Okay. And I hope more and more of you join in on this show right there. If you can't catch it for the whole stream, I get it. It's 2 hours or whatever. Okay. catch it for 5 minutes here, and then watch the rest, later on. It's being recorded, everybody, okay? But that's awesome news, Till Death Podcast. Appreciate that. But yeah, but I think I've talked that to death about Kathleen Kennedy and her feminazi ways ruining this movie right here. And you know what? And anybody with one last thing I want to say is anybody with the fantasy that Kathleen Kennedy is going to get perp walked out of Lucasfilm. Yeah, no, she's not. She's not getting fired. Okay, she's got too many connections. Okay, Spielberg, George Lucas. She's married to Frank Marshall. I think she's still married to Frank Marshall. Frank Marshall is a famous producer, and he directed Arachnophobia. Might have heard of that movie. And I think he directed Jurassic Park 3, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But point is, Frank Marshall is connected. Okay, he's a lot. If you watch like Steven Spielberg movies, in the opening credits, his name and Kathleen Kennedy is a prominent name you always see in the opening credits for most, if not all, Steven Spielberg movies right there. So she's connected. So she is going to be allowed probably next year when a contract is up to leave gracefully, and she's going to get a big bag of gold, and she's going to get Spielberg and George Lucas and Frank Marshall and others, to blow sunshine up her ass and lie to all of us. And, oh, you were such a success, and everything you did was successful, and oh, you're the best. You're the bee's knees, Kathleen Kennedy. So she's going to go out in a very celebrated, ego-stroking way. So yeah, so sorry, folks. I know I wanted to. She's not going to get kicked out on her ass from Lucasfilm. So sorry. And anybody that spreads rumors, it tells you that she is, they're full of shit. Okay. But you know what? Not every fantasy can come true, unfortunately. Okay. Yes, everybody. Okay. I totally forgot, but I'm glad I remembered it now. Okay. So like I said, remember how I said Indiana Jones, it cost at least $300 million to make this movie, right? Okay. But probably more like 330 million, maybe upwards of 400 million just to make this movie. Well, this $400 million movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, got beat, everybody, on the 4th of July at the box office by another blockbuster, another tentpole. No, by like this highly anticipated movie that everybody knows is based on this popular IP? No, it got beat by a movie that you may have heard of at this point, a $14 million movie called Sound of Freedom. $14 million, or maybe 14 and a half. I'll give it $14.5 million. We'll go with $14.5 million to make Sound of Freedom. So $14.5 million. Okay, $14.5 million. I'm not a math whiz, everybody, so correct me if I'm wrong, but $300 million, probably a little higher than $14.5 million, I'm thinking. It got beat. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny got beat by a movie that has a budget of $14.5 million and doesn't have even anywhere close to the marketing budget that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I mean, I don't have streaming, or I don't have like DirecTV or YouTube TV or cable or anything like that, so I don't know. But I imagine if people who did probably saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, probably saw a commercial for it like every fucking 3 seconds, right? Okay, all right. Probably you go get on a website, you see Dial of Destiny, Dial of Destiny, Dial of Destiny, Dial of Destiny. Okay, everywhere, right? Billboards everywhere, right? Magazines. If people read magazines anymore, Dial of Destiny everywhere, right? Did you see a whole lot of Sound of Freedom? I mean, there were commercials and stuff online. You do see it, right? But did you see it like for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months? No, is the answer. No is the answer. Okay. And Sound of Freedom, a $14.5 million budget movie, beat. Now, yes, some people are like, it didn't beat Indiana Jones. They're like, you look at the numbers. No, it beat. Okay, it beat Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny on the 4th of July. Okay. Now, can you think of a more 4th of July movie, other than like, say, Top Gun Maverick or something like that, than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? A beloved character, beloved IP. Okay, entertaining us since 1981. Okay, can you think of a more Fourth of July movie than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, or more Fourth of July character than Indiana Jones? And it gets beat by Sound of Freedom, an independent studio. Angel Studios made Sound of Freedom. It beats Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Okay, I thought that was hilarious, but that's not all, folks. That's not all. Guess who owned Sound of Freedom before? Guess who had the rights to it? Okay, think about it. Disney made Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now that I've said that, you're probably going to guess what the answer is to who used to have Sound of Freedom, who used to have the rights to it. Disney. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. So, as you know, Disney bought 20th Century Fox. Okay. 20th Century Fox had the rights to Sound of Freedom. Okay. So Disney could have done whatever they wanted with Sound of Freedom. Okay. Could have done whatever they wanted because Sound of Freedom has been made for like 4 or 5 years, something like that. Okay. But Disney wanted to shelve it. Now, let me tell you guys, Sound of Freedom, as if you haven't heard already, Sound of Freedom is a movie about human trafficking, particularly children. Okay. Now, here we have a movie with a message that is probably good for people to hear because we don't want children to be trafficked, right? We want to end human trafficking, right? From what I've been told, slavery is a bad thing. I personally believe slavery is a bad thing. Okay, it was a bad thing. It was a scourge of existence. Okay, we should have never had slavery. Okay, last time I checked, that slavery is a bad thing. Okay, and I think I've heard people at Disney say the same thing quite a bit, right? A lot of people say, "Hey, America invented slavery. We're the only country that had slavery," right? The point I'm trying to make is Disney thinks slavery is a bad thing. So they have a movie where the messaging is out there to raise awareness so that we can end slavery, or basically decrease the numbers, right? Decrease the numbers of slavery and human trafficking, and in particular children being trafficked, that kind of thing. Well, was Disney's first instinct to put out this movie to spread the good word, that spread the messaging so that people could act on that messaging and we could end this trafficking, this slavery, this suffering? No, their first instinct was to shelve this movie. Shelve it. Now, I don't know about you, but that gets me wondering about Disney and about the people that are at Disney and the powers that be. Like, what are your extracurricular activities exactly? Okay. What is it that you value? Okay. What kind of entertainment are you into specifically? Okay. If you're going to take a movie like that and shelve it, that makes no sense. And it's only a $14.5 million budget. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Okay. You're not going to lose your ass by releasing a $14.5 million budget movie. Okay. So yeah, that just gets me wondering about like, and Disney's not the only one that didn't want this movie to be released. Okay, I mean a lot of little Hollywood entities didn't want this movie to be released. I mean, just check out social media. You've got a bunch of people who are like, oh yeah, this movie is a QAnon fantasy. Why are they releasing this movie? This is a right-wing movie. This is a conservative movie. I'm like, well, if a movie that wants to raise awareness about human trafficking so that we can end human trafficking or at least greatly reduce it, if that's considered conservative and right-wing, what does that make liberal and left-wing? Are they pro-human trafficking? If they don't want this movie to be out there, they don't want this message to be spread far and wide? Like, what the hell? Yeah, I don't think that's the message that I want to be, portrayed out there if I'm a liberal or I'm a Democrat. Okay. If I was them, I'd be screaming from the top of the mountains like, yeah, release this movie. Yes, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to go see it 5 times. I'm glad this movie's. If I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat, I'm screaming that from the mountaintops. I'm not like, oh God, it's a human trafficking movie. Why do they have to release this movie? They're going to ruin everything. I mean, that's what it looks like when you're a person that's on social media tweeting out there that this movie shouldn't be released, or that you're pissing on this movie for being released. Okay. But all that to say is that, yeah, Sound of Freedom, a $14.5 million movie, beat a $300 million at least budget movie in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny here. So, and also Till Death Podcast on the live chat. Yeah, good point. he reminds us to vote for the Banny Awards, the BANNY'S. Okay, so yeah, definitely check out the BANNY'S. So what the BANNY'S are, okay? Because right now you're probably, what is the BANNY'S? I don't know, but tell me more, man. Okay, well I will tell you. Okay, so the BANNY'S, this is our awards that we are holding. Okay, we got 6 categories. Okay, and we got categories like the most canceled, most cancelable like TV media star, and I'm gonna flub up these categories, okay? And I'm sure Till Death Podcast is like, oh my god, you're ruining everything, man. What we got, like we got Dingus of the Year, I believe, is one of the where we basically just pick like the biggest dumbass. Okay, we not so affectionately call them dinguses, dingus, something like that. Okay, other categories like the most canceled sports star, that kind of thing. So there's 6 categories like that. Okay, and yeah, if in the live chat you click on the link there in the live chat, and you can vote for the bandies, and we encourage you to vote as often as you like. Okay, all right, get in there and vote your ass off. Okay, because we want to definitely hear from you. And then we are going to have of course, a award show, okay, based on the winners of the Bannies. And we're going to have that down the road. So definitely check that out there. So, and you might find the link to the Banny voting in the description for this episode too. You might find it in the description too. I wouldn't be surprised if it's down there as well. Okay. But if you go to like Till Death Podcast, look up Till Death Podcast on Twitter, you'll see it there as well. So a number of places you can get the link to do the Banny voting. So please do that. It's fun. It's a good time. Okay, it's quick, very quick. You can do it like in a minute. Okay, it's very fun. Okay, so let's break this up a little bit here because yeah, I'm getting a little thirsty. I know maybe you're getting a little thirsty. I know I am. So I think everybody, it's time for a little brew review time. All right, everybody. Hey, let's bust out this beer, the lucky beer for tonight. Okay. And here we are. Okay. And you know what? I am not even going to try to pronounce that. I've had this a few times and I'll drink the beer, but I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Okay. So, okay. Maybe I will. Okay. This will be fun for you. It'll be painful for me. It'll be embarrassing for me, but I'm going to try to pronounce it. So I'm going to go with Ek Curia Rush Beer Marzen. Oh, let me try. Let me try with the proper Act Schlanke Rush Beer Marzen. Probably not even close. Okay, but as you may have been able to tell from that pronunciation, this is a Marzen. Okay, well, let me turn this the right way without spilling it. Okay, and as you can tell right there, this is a good sized bottle. Okay, now I don't know, this ain't a 40. I ain't drinking no OE. I ain't drinking no Mickey's malt liquor. Okay, no, but it's a pretty big bottle. Okay, not quite as big as some OE 800. Okay, but yeah. So this is a German beer, as you probably could tell from the title. It's out of Bamberg, Germany. It's got like 5.4% alcohol by volume on this there, and it's a smoky beer. Okay, that's definitely like, it's just how they describe it as a smoky beer, and they don't lie. It's got a very smoky flavor, but and I don't mean to make it sound like that's a bad thing. Okay, it's maybe not for everybody. Okay, but I like it. It obviously, hence the name. It's got a smoky flavor to it, and that's because it's barley malts that they make this beer with. It's actually kilned over a fire that's made with beechwood logs, and it just really just sears that smoky flavor into this beer. Now, you probably aren't going to be able to find. Well, I'm not even going to I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name again. But you're probably not going to be able to find this like at your typical grocery store. But if you go to like a website like GoPuff.com or like Drizzly.com, not getting paid any money from those websites or from this brewery for that matter, you can probably find it there. But I would recommend it. Not a beer to drink while you're like sitting by the pool, on a hot July day or something like that. So it's not that kind of beer. It's just kind of more like sitting inside by a fireplace, that kind of thing. There. So yeah, so it's great beer for that. But you know what? Enough yapping about it. I'm going to take a tug off this bad boy. Oh yeah. See, I couldn't stop drinking. It's just so good. But it's, I don't know how gross this is going to sound, but it's pretty much like, so you're sitting by the fireplace. You got that smoky wood, fire smell. It's going through your nose. It's wafting through your nostrils. I mean, it helps remind you you're out in the wilderness, right? It's kind of got that flavor to it. Okay. Now I don't know if that sells it or not, but trust me, it's a good thing. It's a good message I'm trying to portray out there. So yeah. So definitely check that out. Yep, check that. I'm gonna call it the ASRM beer. Okay, there we go. So it's got initials now. All right. Anyway, putting that away. All right, putting in some good brew review time work here. All right, so let's move on with the show. Hey, we've got, I'm Sean Cav here in the live chat. Welcome. Hey, right back at you. And Beer Drinking Trev, is it Captain and Coke? Afraid not. It is not. But this would be like a good, not a chaser, but like a good opener. Is that what you say? Like a good opener, a good sneak preview to a Captain and Coke right there. Or it just goes good after a Captain and Coke. There you go. That's a great thing about booze. Like most of the time, drinking whatever fucking order you want. Beautiful. I'm Sean Cav. Hey, I get a $5 Rumble rant from I'm Sean Cav. I appreciate that. Chug the beer. Not with this, my man. Not with this, because I am going to be. I would love to accommodate you on that. I mean, especially for $5, But I would be too burpy. I mean, I'm already too burpy as it is. I mean, if you watch these shows, every episode, I'm like burping the whole damn time here. So yeah. So if it wasn't for that, I'd definitely be chugging this beer. But this is definitely not a chug beer. Not at all. Okay. Right there. But I appreciate the $5 there. I'm Sean Cav. Absolutely. So thanks for the support. And again, that's another reminder. You can get there and Rumble and then click on that $sign icon down there and show a little money love. Okay, now I'm not going to be like who's that, Christian Harloff? I'm not going to be like him because he's like, show a little class, give me a tip, give me some money, show a little class. Like, I hate it when he says that. I hate it when he puts it that way. It sounds like he's begging for money. I'm not gonna make it an issue of you have class or you don't have class if you give me money. Okay, it's your money. You can like spend it on whatever you want, on whoever you want. Not gonna hold it against you. I just appreciate you just being here and supporting me. That's great. Okay, and if you want to, if you want to put a little icing on the cake by showing a little financial love, hey, that's bonus. That's a bonus for me. Okay, so I just appreciate you being here. So, all right, money me now. Rumble rent me money. I should say that as a money me now. Rumble rent me money. Okay. If I was going to get some money now, I'm probably not going to get any money because of me doing that stupid voice right there. Okay. But Beer Drinking Trev mentioning a Captain Coke, that makes me want a Captain and Coke after this show. So I think I will be doing that. So thanks a lot there, Trev, for that. Oh, yeah. And then, hey, I got another point here I wanted to make about Kathleen Kennedy here. Because apparently she is obviously well aware of how bad this movie is doing. So bad that rumor says it that her and the marketing department at Lucasfilm they got a little infighting going on. Okay. They're not all as well. They're in Lucasfilm land between Kathleen Kennedy and the marketing department. Okay. I think the honeymoon is over. We're in the 5th year of marriage and we're going to bed angry all the time. Right. Okay. And that applies to Kathleen Kennedy and the marketing department because she's bitching at them, hey, the marketing wasn't good enough. That's why the box office sucks for this movie. And they're like, no, that's not the reason. You just made a shit movie there, bitch. Okay. And of course, she's not taking that too well, right? No, it's not. I mean, the perfect movie. All right, this is a movie ordained by God. Okay, this is the perfect movie. You've seen Casablanca. You've seen Saving Private Ryan. You've seen Schindler's List. You've seen Gone with the Wind. I wipe my ass with all those movies. This is the perfect movie. Okay, that's how up her ass Kathleen Kennedy is. Okay, all right there. So can't wait till she's gone. Sadly enough, though, when she's gone, they're just going to bring in somebody that's even worse than her. Okay. Yeah, maybe they'll bring in like Dick Levine, that was that assistant health and human secretary, the dude that feels pretty. Maybe they'll bring him in. They'll probably bring that guy in to replace her. So yeah, when Kathleen Kennedy finally leaves, put away the ticker tape and put away the celebration, put away the chips and dips, okay, because it's not going to be a party because they're going to bring in somebody even worse, okay. Beer drinking Trev, yes, beer drinking Trev. There we go. Yeah, she was beer drinking Trev. She was like, felt cute today. Might ruin another movie franchise later. I love it. Yeah, it sounds like something you'd see on Instagram right there. So, and she's probably and would have to be accompanied by one of those annoying pictures of like women taking selfies of themselves, in the mirror and that kind of thing. Always a great look. Okay. Now, right now, I've got like probably 317,000 sorority chicks are, mad at me now. So, but oh well. That was a good one, Trevor. Good one. But yeah, so that's so Kathleen Kennedy is things aren't going so great between her and the marketing department there. A lot of infighting, that kind of thing. It's just ugly. It's just ugly right there. But yeah, I mean, and that's another thing about this movie that it's missing is, I think like the whole idea that they're chasing after this dial of destiny, Archimedes dial, it just wasn't. It didn't hold the same stakes as going after something like the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, because to me, that's one thing I liked about them going after the Ark of the Covenant is the theological aspect of it. You're talking about God and religion, something that most people, if not all people, can relate on one and on some level, right? You might hate church, you might love church, you might hate religion, you might love religion, maybe impartial to it, you may be agnostic, atheist, whatever, okay, or maybe born again believer, whatever. But everyone in some terms can relate to religion, okay? And you could be the most intense atheist, but you've probably heard of the Ark of the Covenant, Moses, and that kind of thing. You've probably heard of that. And so them going after the Ark of the Covenant, it was just this very dangerous, daunting, foreboding object that they were going after, especially after the scene in Raiders where the G-men, they come up and they're explaining the Ark of the Covenant, and Indiana Jones is drawing on the chalkboard, talking about the headpiece, the Staff of Ra, and the power of the Ark and how it would lay waste to armies and that kind of thing. There's no talk like that about this dial of destiny. Okay. All the talk is okay. It helps you travel back in time. And I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong there, chat, they don't really even cover the fact that it takes you back in time until well into the movie. Maybe it's earlier in the movie and I'm just forgetting right there. But even if they do, I don't care if they say, hey, this dial of destiny helps you travel back in time in the first 1 minute of the movie. To me, that's not as scary as they're looking for something that could kill thousands, if not millions of people at a time, right? Okay, that's not scary. Temple of Doom, they're looking for the Lost Shankara stones, all right? That's not as scary as the Ark of the Covenant, but what they have to go through to get the Lost Shankara stones, they got to go to Pancake Palace, and then they run into the thuggies, and they got to deal with Mullah Rum, and he's ripping people's hearts out of their chests, and our birds' heads are falling off. I mean, just all kinds of chaos, like dogs and cats living together, complete hysteria. Okay, they got to go through all that to deal, with trying to get the Shankara stones. And then the Last Crusade. Last Crusade, they return back to the religious-related artifact, right? The Holy Grail, the Cup of Christ. Okay, still not as scary and as foreboding as the Ark of the Covenant, but still getting back to Scripture and religion and that kind of thing. Dial of Destiny, it could take you back in time. They might as well be looking for Doc Brown's DeLorean. Okay. Not scary, not foreboding, couldn't give a fuck. Okay. And then just the whole idea as far as how they tell you, or they tell you like what the villain is going to do with the Dial of Destiny, why the villain wants to go back in time. He wants to kill Hitler. So in essence, Indiana Jones and Helena Shaw are trying to stop Hitler from being killed. That's a synopsis you could write for this movie is Indiana Jones and Helena Shaw fight Nazis to save Hitler's life. Like, what? Okay, like they obviously weren't thinking about writing and thinking about things, thinking things through. Obviously, I've given you great examples that show you that they weren't thinking things through. Okay, they, Teddy, I can't swim. Suddenly he's killing a guy swimming. Okay, all this stuff. Harrison Ford's wanted for murder, but then he's not arrested when he gets back. Like, obviously, they didn't think through the script. Okay. And so obviously they didn't think through the fact that, a synopsis you could write about this movie is Indiana Jones tries to save Hitler's life. Makes no sense whatsoever. Beer Jerk Trev says, should have traveled back and refilmed with better writing. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That is for sure right there. But yeah, just love to hear like your guys' thoughts about the movie. If you guys have seen it, I mean, get it in the live chat and let me know what you guys think. I mean, feel free to rip it a new asshole, with me. Or you know what? Hey, if you want to get on here and you want to defend it, by all means, I'll debate you on that. That is for sure. But it's this movie conceivably could be the worst Disney flop of all time. I mean, it could, because right now a lot of people think of John Carter as the biggest flop in Disney history as far as movies go. Because John Carter, I think all in total, what they lost in that movie, I'm just going to guess here, but it's upwards of like $300 million that Disney basically had to eat because of the John Carter movie that came out. I think John Carter came out in 2013, something like that. So how much did they lose? I gotta check this out here. So. Okay. Now you guys are at the mercy of how fast I can type. Okay. So it looks like, hey, I was pretty close. So it cost the Walt Disney Company $306.6 million. Oh, wait, no, it cost them $306.6 million right there. So let's see. So they lost ended its run. Okay, so it cost $306.6 million to make John Carter. It ended its domestic gross with $73 million, with an international gross of $211 million. So what are we talking about? There's so $311 million, and then probably it's probably way made like $300 million around $300 million. And it cost them $306.6 million to make, not including marketing, which probably cost $150 million. So yeah, they lost a fuck ton of money on John Carter right there. And so this movie, this how bad this movie is doing, could become the top losing money movie in Disney history. Okay, certainly in Lucasfilm history. Okay, certainly in Lucasfilm history, this will be the worst flop ever. There, so no wonder Kathleen Kennedy is marching down the hall to the marketing department and ripping them a new one. No wonder the Kathleen Kennedy marketing department honeymoon is over. Beer Jerky Trev says, I like John Carter. I've heard that a lot. I have not seen John Carter. I definitely need to see it. Okay. Because the more I hear from people, like I'm hearing from Beer Jerky Trev right now, the more I hear from them, the more I do want to check out John Carter. And like typically movies that cost as much as that movie did, typically at least it's entertaining from a visual standpoint, right? Like there's usually at least something that's going to make your eyes pop out of your head, right? Something entertaining for the eyeballs. So I definitely need to check that out. I might have to, God forbid, have to get on Disney Plus again to check out John Carter. I'm sure I could find it elsewhere as well. So, but yeah, not looking good. Not looking too good at all, everybody, for Disney and Lucasfilm and whatnot. And so they brought it on themselves. They brought it on themselves. Okay. You know what? Let's break things up again a little bit, okay, by me letting you guys know about an awesome product. An awesome product. Okay. Now, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, that's not an awesome product, as the world is showing Disney and Lucasfilm. But Nature Clear Recovery Powder, that is an awesome product. And what is Nature Clear Recovery Powder? Well, it is a powder that you can take to help avoid a hangover, okay? Because as you can tell here at Movies Merica, we like to party, okay? We like to have a good time, all right? We drink responsibly still, okay? But we party responsibly, okay? We are all about responsibility here at Movies Merica Incorporated. But we do like to have a good time. And so sometimes I have enough of a good time to have a hangover. Okay. Not for a lot of years, but I don't want to take that chance. And so I like to take myself a little Nature Clear Recovery Powder right there. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And hey, let's get Indiana Jones off the screen right there so you can see it. There we go. There we go. Well-oiled machine here, everybody. But yeah, all you have to do is take this Nature Clear Recovery Powder. You just pour this into, like, say, 12 ounces of water, or like a typical bottle of water. And what my man I'm Sean Cab does is he also throws in some lemonade. I believe lemonade Mio, which I have lemonade Mio here in the casa. Throws that in with some water, and it makes it even tastier. And all you gotta do is just drink that before you go out and shake your booty or hit the beer patio or whatever you're doing for your good times. Okay. And yeah, you can go out there and you can drink all the tequila, all the beer, all you want. If you're anybody I don't like, you can drink 27 Cosmos, and you don't have to worry because you've taken this. And you don't have to worry about a hangover. Okay, but never fear. If you are out and you're on your 43rd tequila shot, which I hope you're not doing it because that's probably alcohol poisoning. If you're on your 43rd tequila shot and you're like, oh my God, I forgot to take my Nature Clear. What a bonehead. Have no fear. Okay, you can take it when you get home. Okay, so when you're falling out of the Uber at 3:30 in the morning and you're crawling in the front door, well, just crawl a little further and grab your Nature Clear. Okay, and take that, and you don't have to worry about a hangover there. Okay, so Nature Clear, they're thinking ahead. They're thinking of everything. Okay, and it also helps you recover from smoking and vaping as well. Okay, so this is an all-around Swiss Army knife of recovery. Okay, so yeah, get yourself some Nature Clear by clicking on the link in the description down below. And as you see down below, if you put in promo code MOVIES in the carts, you're going to get up to 25% off your next Nature Clear order, okay? So, get some. All right. Let's move on with the show. What do you say, everybody? Let's check the old live chat here, see if we got anybody else here with a live chat comment. And right now, we do not. We do not have that. Also, in the live chat there, I mean, let me know, like, what your favorite Indiana Jones moment is. Okay, just let me know, or maybe maybe an easier thing to answer, a shorter thing to answer. Who's your favorite Indiana Jones character other than Indiana Jones, of course? Okay, so let me know in the live chat right there. All right, so let's move on here, and you know what? We should probably do this. One of my favorite moments, or probably my favorite segment of the show here, is the military movie, or the movie military moment. Okay. And what is the movie military moment? You may be asking yourself right now. Well, so this is the moment where I like to commemorate and pay homage to men or women, service people that have won the Congressional Medal of Honor. And as you would imagine, if you're winning the Congressional Medal of Honor, you probably did something quite spectacular. Okay. Something amazing to the eyes. Okay. If you were to see it in a movie, something amazing to the eyeballs. Okay. And, you're throwing grenades, you're shooting guns. Okay. You're sniping people, you're following a grenade, something spectacular. I was about to say cool, but that's not cool, but cool is definitely the wrong word. But yeah, just something that, that shows that you're dedicated to freedom and that you love this country. And so those people that do things like that for you and me, they deserve some recognition. Okay. And so if you, again, like I said, if you could picture what they did to get their Medal of Honor, it would probably be a really spectacular movie moment. Hence the name, the movie military moment. Okay. And so the movie military moment, it deserves some music. What do you say? Okay. So let's get into this. All right. So today's lucky Medal of Honor recipient that we will be recognizing is Second Lieutenant Raymond Zussman in World War II in France. Okay. On 12 September 1944, Second Lieutenant Zussman was in command of 2 tanks operating with an infantry company in the attack on enemy forces occupying the town of Norroy-le-Bourg, France. Probably totally butchered that name. At 7 p.m., his command tank bogged down. Throughout the ensuing action, armed only with a carbine, he reconnoitered alone on foot, far in advance of his remaining tank in the infantry, returning only from time to time to designate targets. He directed the action of the tank and turned over to the infantry the numerous German soldiers he had caused to surrender. He located a roadblock and directed his tanks to destroy it. Fully exposed to fire from enemy positions only 50 yards distant, he stood by his tank, directing its fire. 3 Germans were killed and 8 surrendered. Again, he walked before his tank, leading it against an enemy-held group of houses, machine gun and small arms fire, kicking up dust at his feet. The tank fire broke the resistance, and 20 enemies surrendered. Going forward again alone, he passed an enemy-occupied house from which Germans fired on him and threw grenades in his path. After a brief firefight, he signaled his tank to come up and fire on the house. 11 German soldiers were killed and 15 surrendered. Going on alone, he disappeared around a street corner. The fire of his carbine could be heard, and in a few minutes he reappeared, driving 30 prisoners before him. Under Second Lieutenant Zussman's heroic and inspiring leadership, 18 enemy soldiers were killed and 92 captured. Wow. Again, as I always say, what did you do with your day? Okay. Second Lieutenant Raymond Zussman, we knew what he did with his day. Okay. We know what he did to earn his Congressional Medal of Honor. And so I pay homage to him. Absolutely. That has been our movie military moment. All right. Just love that segment. Love that segment right there. They deserve our honor. Okay, they deserve to be commemorated for the freedoms that we appreciate today. Well, some of us appreciate. Not everybody. I mean, we get some people on the 4th of July, they're burning the flag right across the street, from the Philadelphia, in Philadelphia there, right across the street from the Liberty Bell. They're burning the flag. Okay, but hey, it's their First Amendment right. Okay, but it's my First Amendment right to call them a bunch of assholes. Okay. All right. So hey, we got an answer here from Beer Drinking Trev to my question about what's your favorite Indiana Jones character in the Indiana Jones movies, besides Indiana Jones, of course. And he's got a good answer. Sean Connery. Hello, Sean Connery. Yes, Sean Connery. One of my favorite monologues from Sean Connery of all time in the movies is his monologue, of course, from The Untouchables, where he won his one and only Oscar from that. And it's that whole scene with him and Kevin Costner playing Elliot Ness, and they're in the church, and he's like, "You want to know how to get Capone?" It's like, what? It's like, he brings a knife, you bring a gun. He puts one of yours in the hospital, you put one of his in the morgue. That's the Chicago way. And that's how you get Capone. Like that whole monologue. It's fantastic. I don't know if it was that monologue. Maybe it didn't come down to this monologue and another scene in the movie. Maybe both of them contributed to him getting his Oscar. But that's a pretty powerful monologue. But then at the end, spoilers for a movie that came out in 1987, when Sean Connery is killed right before he dies. It's a sad moment. And Elliot Ness is there while he's dying, and he's like, "What are you prepared to do?" As he lays dying. Man, powerful moment. But Untouchables, great movie. If by some miracle you haven't seen The Untouchables from 87, check it out. And check the old Untouchables movie out too. That's pretty good as well, if you can handle black and white movies. Okay. All right. So yeah, but again, I hope you guys all like that movie military moment there. Checking the live chat again and again. Hey, I appreciate everyone joining here for this show as I wrap up this show here tonight about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, next week, next week's episode will actually be about the movie that beat Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny on the 4th of July, like I mentioned before. Sound of Freedom will be the movie that I will have a spoiler-free review of for this Sunday, okay? Have a spoiler-free review of Sound of Freedom, okay? And then, Movies America spoiler warning will be all about Sound of Freedom next Thursday night, okay? So, and it's a movie that I would definitely encourage you to go check out. But I don't want to give away too much about the movie. Obviously, you can tell. I think you should go see the movie, if not to raise awareness and raise money for human trafficking and by God, by God's good grace, ending human trafficking. I mean, obviously, probably not ever going to totally end it, but we can put a good dent in it, especially when we're talking about the child part of the or the human trafficking right there. So yeah, like Till Death Podcast says, hit the thumbs up, y'all. Yeah, appreciate that right there. Also, back to Sound of Freedom here real quick. So if you can't afford to go to Sound of Freedom, well, you got no excuse, because you can go to, you just Google Sound of Freedom free tickets, something like that, okay? And they have a program where you can pay it forward. They have people who pay it forward to pay for other people's tickets to go see Sound of Freedom. Okay. And check that out. So really, you have no excuse not to go see it. Or if you're feeling charitable, yeah, you can pay it forward and pay for somebody else's ticket there. So I did that for a couple of tickets there myself there. Not much, but hey, it's a little bit, right? So, but yeah, Sound of Freedom. Oh, and another thing about Sound of Freedom, I know I keep saying that. Like, hey, yet another thing about Sound of Freedom. Okay, this is the last time. Another thing about how it beat Indiana Jones on the 4th of July is it beat the Indiana Jones movie, and it was in 2,000 less theaters, close to 2,000 less theaters than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That makes it even more hilarious that it beat Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. Okay. All right. So let's get on. Let's break on through to the other side. What do you say? And I'll just let you guys know as I wrap up this episode that you can go to www.moviesmerica.com and you can check out my audio-only versions of my spoiler-free reviews there if you don't want to check out this mug right here. I know I can't see why you wouldn't want to. Look at this chiseled jaw. Yeah, look at that. Like, totally not a weak chin at all. And these movie star great looks. If you just want to watch, if you just want to listen to the audio only version of my spoiler free episodes, you can check them out at www.moviesmerica.com, or you can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere your imagination tells you that you might be able to check out a podcast. You can check them out. Check out the audio only podcasts there. Also, I'm on the social medias at Twitter and Instagram under @MoviesAmerica. And if you're over the age of 55, you can find me at Facebook as well under Movies America. I kid. Okay, I kid. And then also moving on to tdpn.locals.com, as it says there up at the top, and I've mentioned there before. Can't drive that point home enough, people. Get to tdpn.locals.com to check out the awesome content from Ian and Sean on there. Okay, you'll be doing yourself a favor. And also vote for the BANNY'S. Like I said before, vote for the BANNY Awards. And you can find that link in the live chat there, particularly on Rumble at least. Check out the link there. And it might be in the description for this episode as well. But yeah, the BANNY Awards. Have yourself some fun, okay? Doesn't take that long. It's not like those boring surveys, or you gotta be like, you know what? If you were in a situation where your boss wanted you to do something unethical, what would you do? No, those are boring, tedious. This is a fun survey. That'll take you a minute. A fun survey. So do it. So yeah, click on that link to vote for the BANNY Awards, okay? All right. And then moving on. So check out at Till Death Network, solo.to/Till Death Pod Network. And that's where you can find all the links that has to do with the Till Death Podcast Network. Yep, Till Death Podcast. Let me check my, the Secret Service has just confirmed that, yes, the link for the Banny Awards is in the description as well. So that has just been confirmed by my sources. Yeah. So yeah, solo.to/Till Death Pod Network. That's where you can find all the links to get to all the fantastic locations that have to do with Till Death Podcast Network, all the great content you can get to. Moving on to solo.to/Till Death Studios. And if you want to get some great visual work done for you in regards to like creating content, like I'm creating content right now with this live stream, you can have content like the banner that you see up there at the very top, like, it says at Movies Merica, moviesmerica.com, or the background, the Movies Merica background, or the solo.to/Till Death Studios, all that stuff, or the intro that you saw at the beginning. If you want cool visual stuff like that created for you, if you're thinking about getting into the content game, you can go to solo.to/Till Death Studios, and Ian will work his visual magic for you. He'll create great visual, flourishes and flair and stuff like that for you to wow up your presentation right there. Okay, enough about that as I stammer my way through that. Secret Service confirmed. Till Death Podcast says Secret Service confirmed it was Hunter. Big shock. Wow, Hunter. Oh my God, it was Hunter with the booger sugar there at the White House. So I guess he wanted to, redefine the term White House. Okay, there we go. Wanted to bring his Colombian Bam Bam to the White House. So, and I don't know if you guys saw the video. I thought it was hilarious. They show him up on the balcony with his Squeeze and his kids and Pedo Joe and the First Lady there, and he's trying to hide behind his mom and dad, like trying to wipe the booger sugar from underneath his nose. So I guarantee, I know this is more like the whiskey podcast, whiskey capitalist podcast territory, but yeah, I think we just know that unless what Till Death Podcast says is true for reals, they're not going to get down to the bottom of who did that. Okay, the same video cameras that they used at Jeffrey Epstein's prison are the same ones that they use in the White House, or at least that's what they're going to say, I'm sure. But moving on to, we're going to jump back into the movie world here, okay? But yeah, solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. That's where you can go and find all the links that has to do with the content that one Sean Cav produces out there. And he has a fantastic show called Sippin' with Sean that is every other Friday. And I always louse this up here, but I believe it's like every other Friday at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, I believe. But that's another great reason to go to solo.to/I'm Sean Cav to get to a link that gives you the accurate time for when his awesome show, Sippin' with Sean, is on every other Friday, okay? And moving on here, solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist. And you're going to detect a theme here, but these sites are where you get, where you have the one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with, in this case, the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast. Yes, for all the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast related content out there. And that's another great place to go to find out when you can watch the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast show. That's every Monday and Wednesday, every week, every Monday and Wednesday nights. And that comes on at 7 Central. So what is it? 8 Eastern, 6 Pacific, and 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. So there you go. My time zone skills are down there. Okay. But yeah, that's every Monday and Wednesday at that time. So definitely check out their fantastic show for all kinds of fantastic, funny content about hot button issues and funnies and all that stuff. So politics, all that great stuff. Okay. Till Death Podcast. It wasn't Parmesan cheese though. No, it was not. So yeah, it's yeah, at least, well, I guess, I don't know. At least it's not, at least he's smart enough not to snort Limburger cheese, right there. But yeah, that's It's our first son, everybody. Smartest guy that Joe Biden knows right there. He's snorting Parmesan cheese and banging relatives. There we go. Okay, moving on to solo.to/till-death podcast. And that's the one-stop shop location for all the links that have to do with Ian and his lovely wife Jen's Till Death podcast show that they do every other Saturday. And they just discuss everything that has to do with like being married, marital issues, that kind of thing, all the nonstop fun that it is to be married. You know, I mean, because when you're married, that's all you have is fun, right? Nonstop amusement and good times. Okay, and so they talk about the whole marriage world, but they also talk about hot button issues as well. You know, funny stories from the day, that kind of thing. So yeah, so if you want to watch a show framed by the whole marriage thing with some funnies and some interesting stuff, check out their Till Death podcast every other Saturday. And for me, I believe it typically comes on like at 4:30 Central, so around my time. So I'm not even going to go through time zones again because I'm too lazy. Okay, but check that out. Another reason, again, to go to solo.to/till-death podcast to get all that great Till Death Podcast Network or Till Death Podcast show information. Okay. All right. So we are going to get out of that, people. Get out of that. Let's check out the live chat, see if we got anything else right there. The last thing we have in there is our hot button update here about the Hunter Biden booger sugar situation, that it wasn't Parmesan cheese. All right. Absolutely. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. But hey, everybody, as I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Hey, don't leave yet. Hey, you know what? The night is still so young. You know, you didn't get that babysitter for nothing. Come on. It's like only like whatever o'clock, okay? Stay here. And hey, while you're here, subscribe to this channel and like the video if you would, all right? It'd be great, okay? Absolutely. So, and if you do, drinks are on me, all right? Hey, you know what? And while I'm in the asking mood, feel free to watch these videos over here and like them, all right? So, okay, let's do it. Yeah, party time. See ya.